All right, hello everyone. So this is a very old question, maybe from 2015, but it popped up on my page, and I figured people are getting back into school, so I'm sure it's going to help someone in the coming weeks. So the question, it's one question. If a speaker is playing music at 45 decibels, what is the decibel reading of six identical speakers? And the key here is identical, six identical speakers. So I'm going to switch pages and show us the formula we're going to use here. So the dB, the sound level, which is dB is this, here is the sound level. It's equal to 10 times log 10 of the ratio between I and I naught, or I0. And I0, that's a reference. That's the sound intensity of reference, and it's defined as the sound intensity of the quietest sound that the average human can hear. And that's usually given as 10 to the negative 12 watts per square meters. But as you will see, as we solve this question, we won't need the I0. We're not going to need the 10 to the negative 12 per se. And then I is the sound intensity that we are measuring, that we are looking for. So with that, let's go back to the question. So, right, so we know the 45 dB, 45 decibels, the sound level. We know I naught, but we won't really need it. And we don't know I, which is the sound level of the sound intensity of one speaker. That's the sound level of one speaker in this case. So we know 45, I naught, and we don't know I. So we could solve for I and then figure out the dB, the sound level of six speakers. But we don't have to do that, and you'll see. So we solve, we have dB, or I should say, so 45 is equal to 10 log 10 of I over I0, right? All right, but we want, in this case, we want, let's see, we want the sound level, we want dB, let's see, let's call it dB6. We want to find dB6. So dB6 is going to be 10 times log of, we're going to call it I6, which is the sound intensity of six speakers. I6 over I0. But what do we know about I6? We know that I6, which is the sound intensity of six identical speakers, so 6 times the original I, so 6I. So we're going to plug that into the equation below for dB6, and you will see something interesting here. So dB6 is equal to 10 times the log of, so no longer I6, but 6 times I over I0, or I naught. Now check this out. We can also write it as 10 times log, so log base 10 again, and then 6 times the ratio we were given at the beginning, 6 times I over I naught. Now, let me switch pages, and you will see I pulled up a page, and the log properties. And we're going to use the product rule, because as you can see, let me circle it. So the log the log of a product, so log of x times y, is equal to the sum of the individual logs. So log of xy is equal to log x plus log y. How does that work for our problem, you may ask. If you see, we have in our parentheses, we have, let's see, you will see we have a 6 being multiplied by I over I naught. So it's going to be, if we use the log property, the log product, specifically, we have 10 times, then I'm going to open square brackets because it's going to be the sum of two logs. It's going to be the log of 6 plus the log of I over I naught. And we're going somewhere, I promise. Log I over I naught. So now we're going to distribute the 10 that's on the outside. And I'm going to open a new page. So now we have, so keep in mind, this is where we were, right? 10 times log 6 plus log I over I0. So if we distribute that, we get 10 times log 6 plus 10 times log I over I naught. Now look at that, especially this 10 over log I over I naught. That's the sound level. That's the formula for the sound level of one speaker. And what do we know about the sound level of one speaker from the question? One speaker is playing music, aka has a sound level of 45 decibels. So you see, we didn't need to find I, the sound intensity of that speaker, and we didn't need to plug in I0. So here, all we're going to do is 10 log 6, and we're going to replace this whole circle by 45. Because again, that's the formula for dB, the sound level of one speaker, which is 45. And from here on out, this becomes a calculator problem. So let's see if we can open a calculator. So we're going to do 45 plus 10 times log base. Log is by default, log is base 10. So it's log of 6. And if you do that, you get 52.78. All right, so 52.78. And then let's see if we can close that out. So 52.78 dB, decibels. So one speaker has a sound level of 45 decibels. One may think, oh, for 6 identical speakers, it's going to be 6 times 45. Not really, because it's a logarithmic scale, so it doesn't work the same way as a linear scale, where it's like 6 times whatever you have in the first place. So 6 identical speakers will only play about 8 decibels higher than 45, but 8 decibels is pretty loud, actually. So to conclude, if one speaker is playing music at 45 decibels, 6 identical speakers will play 52.78 decibels. There you go. Thank you.